In the world of sports, where passion, dedication, and grit are at the forefront, there's one thing that every athlete should uphold: respect. Respect for their teammates, their opponents, and the game itself. But not every player abides by this unspoken rule. From jaw-dropping displays of arrogance to outright disrespect towards the competition. Some moments have gone down in history as the ultimate examples of players failing to show respect. In today's video, we're diving into the top 10 moments players didn't show respect. Moments where athletes went beyond the competitive spirit and crossed a line that for many can never be uncrossed. So without further ado, let's dive into the top 10 moments when players crossed the line and didn't show respect. Number 1. Luis Adriano ignores fair play. FC Shakhtar Donetsk vs FC Nord-Jylland 2012. This moment became a case study in how not to behave on a football pitch. In a Champions League group stage clash, FC Nord-Jylland had a player down with a head injury, and play was paused to allow medical attention. As per the unspoken code of fair play, Shakhtar's Willian attempted to return the ball to the Danish side by kicking it harmlessly toward their goalkeeper. But before the keeper could collect it, Luis Adriano stormed in like a predator chasing prey, sprinting past the stunned defenders, rounding the keeper, and tapping the ball into an empty net. The Nord-Jylland players stood frozen, mouths agape. It wasn't just unsportsmanlike, it was outright treachery on the field. Though the referee let the goal stand under the letter of the law, UEFA stepped in afterward, banning Adriano for one match due to unsporting conduct. Fans and pundits alike were furious, branding the striker's antics as a disgrace to the spirit of the game. Number 2. Navarro's cheap shot. Valencia CF vs Inter Milan 2007. What was supposed to be a high-stakes Champions League knockout tie ended in chaos and carnage. After the final whistle in a tense 0-0 draw at the Mestalla, tempers exploded between Valencia and Inter Milan players. Amid the post-match scuffle, one moment would go down in infamy: David Navarro's brutal and cowardly punch. Navarro, who wasn't even playing at the time, ran in from the bench and sucker punched Inter's Nicolas Berdisso, breaking his nose. What followed looked like a scene from a comedy sketch. Inter players sprinting after Navarro across the pitch and into the tunnel in a frenzy. But there was nothing funny about the incident. UEFA handed Navarro a 7-month suspension from international matches and a domestic ban. It remains one of the dirtiest, most dishonorable moments in Champions League history. Number 3. Rijkaard spits twice. Holland vs Germany 1990 World Cup. Some fouls are physical. Others are just plain disgusting. In this 1990 World Cup showdown between arch-rivals Holland and Germany, things turned ugly fast. Dutch defender Frank Rijkaard crossed a line no player should ever consider: spitting on an opponent. During a first-half free kick, Rijkaard leaned toward Rudy Vuller and unloaded a spitball right into his curly hair. Vuller, understandably disgusted, protested to the referee, who bizarrely showed him the yellow card. Minutes later, Rijkaard again lost his cool, yanking Vuller's ear, stomping on his foot, and shoving him to the ground. Both players were given their marching orders. But even as they left the field, Rijkaard delivered one final insult, spitting on Vuller a second time. This wasn't just disrespect. It was humiliation on the global stage. Number 4. Pep goes rogue. Real Madrid CF vs Getafe CF 2009. Known for his no-nonsense defending and aggressive style, Pep always walked a fine line between intense and irrational. But in this 2009 La Liga clash with Getafe, the Portuguese defender completely snapped. After fouling Javi Casquero inside the box, Pep inexplicably launched a brutal assault. He kicked Casquero twice while he was still on the ground, hard. Then, when Getafe's Juan Albin tried to confront him, Pepe threw a punch at his face. The situation spiraled out of control as Real Madrid players had to step in to restrain their teammate. He was eventually handed a 10-game suspension. It was one of the most outrageous breakdowns in top-flight football, showing total disregard for opponents, the referee, and even teammates. Number 5. Dyer vs Bowyer, teammates clash. Newcastle United FC vs Aston Villa FC 2005. Football fights usually involve rival players, but what happens when teammates turn on each other mid-match? Newcastle United fans were stunned when, during a Premier League match, they were already losing 3-0 to Aston Villa. Kieran Dyer and Lee Bowyer started swinging punches at one another. The tension boiled over after Bowyer accused Dyer of deliberately not passing him the ball. Words were exchanged, then fists. A surreal sight unfolded. Two men in the same jersey being pulled apart by players from both teams. The referee had no choice but to send them both off, leaving Newcastle down to 8 men. The incident embarrassed the club, with both players fined and suspended. It wasn't just disrespectful, it was outright mutiny on the pitch. Number 6. Zidane's final headbutt. France vs. Italy, 2006 World Cup. Zinedine Zidane's final act as a professional footballer wasn't a graceful pass or a goal. It was a violent headbutt in the World Cup final. With the score level deep into extra time, Zidane and Italy's Marco Materazzi exchanged words. According to later reports, Materazzi insulted Zidane's sister and possibly his ailing mother. The French icon, already known for his fiery temper, turned around and delivered a crushing headbutt straight to Materazzi's chest. He was shown a red card, walking off the biggest stage in world football in utter disgrace. France would go on to lose the final in a penalty shootout. While some sympathized with Zidane's rage, many criticized the timing and manner of his retaliation. It was a colossal moment of disrespect to his opponent, his team, and his legacy. Number 7. Thatcher's elbow KO. Portsmouth FC vs. Manchester City FC, 2006. One of the most shocking and dangerous fouls in Premier League history came courtesy of Manchester City's Ben Thatcher, as Portsmouth's Pedro Mendes chased a loose ball near the sideline. Thatcher came flying in, not with a tackle, but with a vicious elbow straight to Mendes' jaw. The Portuguese midfielder was knocked out cold and crashed into the advertising boards. He lost consciousness and reportedly had a seizure in the dressing room. Emergency medical care was required. Thatcher received a 6-game ban from his club and an additional 8 games from the FA. Many called for criminal charges. The tackle wasn't just disrespectful, it was reckless, malicious, and nearly catastrophic. Number 8. Henry's handball robs Ireland. France vs. Republic of Ireland, 2010 World Cup qualifying. In a make-or-break qualifier for the 2010 World Cup, Thierry Henry made a choice that shattered Irish dreams. During extra time, he blatantly handled the ball before assisting William Gallas for the goal that sent France to South Africa. The referee missed it, the goal stood, and Ireland's campaign ended in bitter controversy. Despite outcries and appeals for a replay, FIFA did nothing. Henry's legacy took a major hit, especially among Irish fans who never forgave him. Number 9. The infamous Hand of God. Argentina vs. England, 1986 World Cup. Before Henry's handball came the most infamous one of them all. In the 1986 World Cup quarterfinals, Diego Maradona punched the ball into England's net. The officials thought he headed it. He hadn't. It was one of the clearest examples of cheating ever caught on camera, and it was allowed to stand. After the match, Maradona dubbed it "a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God." It was a stunning act of audacity, and the football world was split. Some called it genius. Others called it blasphemy. But one thing's for sure, it was utterly disrespectful to the laws of the game and an insult to England's efforts that day. Number 10. Suarez's World Cup save. Uruguay vs. Ghana, 2010 World Cup. Luis Suarez has a history of biting opponents, but his most infamous moment came at the 2010 World Cup. In the dying moments of extra time against Ghana, Suarez blocked a sure goal with his hands to prevent a historic African semi-final. He was red-carded, but Ghana missed the penalty. Uruguay eventually won in a shootout. Suarez was unapologetic, saying he'd do it again. For many, it wasn't just a handball, it was the ultimate act of disrespect in the face of fair play. And there you have it, 10 moments where respect took a backseat to ego, rivalry, or just plain bad behavior. What do you think? Were these moments justified, or did these players cross the line? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more top 10 lists just like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.